have to close my eyes in the hopes of willing the sudden sense of vertigo away when I open them. No! Hey, what's up you guys? It's me, Gatvol. Welcome back to another video of The Letter. So we're going to continue where we left off. I really want to finish this game and continue with Doom, because I did like 2 episodes of Doom 3 and I really want to finish Doom 3 and then start with Doom, the newest Doom, before Doom Eternal comes out. I'm so amped. But anyways, thank you guys so much. I will see you guys at the end of the video. Until then, let's get right in it. Yeah, so this is where we left off. Ermengarde Mansion in this Rice is an awkward affair. Not only am I worried about scuffing the expensive leather seats, but I'm also worried about getting in the middle of another couple's spat. With the tension thick in the air, I can feel them starting at each other anytime. I've never been so glad to see a house. Stepping out of the car and up to the mansion meant the end of an uncomfortable ride, and I could finally take a deep breath of fresh air. The beauty of the place never fails to make me gaze and wonder every time I see it as well. Mrs. Wright moves towards the front door, keys in hand, and I can already hear Mr. Wright plotting. Plotting?
Alright, Hans, we're going to go in, but I want you to look around the place. Familiarize yourself with it. Know every nook and cranny, every inch of the lot. Go and see where we can put that vineyard and the other things we talked about. We'll want to know where to station security as well, so go around the perimeter and figure it out.
Scouts the property and circles the perimeter on foot. You do know this is 46 acres of land, sir.
Well, you are not driving a car over the grass. Put those long, spidery legs of yours to good use. I didn't hire you to stand around and look intimidating. Go, mush.
Someday I'd like to ask Johannes can even stand and tolerate the man. Why doesn't he just quit? Certainly the pay can't be that good. Even I'm a bit put off by our mutual employer, and the only thing that keeps me from bailing is the fact that we've already signed a contract. At least I'll only be working with them during the duration of the project. He works with them every day.
Sometimes I think you hired me to make me suffer for your amusement.
Yeah, Johannes, you need to get out of there. Someday I'd ask. I feel a bit bad for him. If it's any consolation, you'll be away from Mr. Wright, if only for a little while. We're able to enter the mansion after a bit of standing out there in the sun. This wretched, strange sunlight that is far too alien and rare. There had been a bit of a problem with the missus not knowing which key was which. The first item on the agenda would be the grand staircase. It seemed sturdy during the open house, but a closer inspection might say otherwise.
So, what do you think? Certainly we can't turn this area into a garage.
No ways. I thought that was a stupid idea.
It's Jacobean architecture. I'd say these would be pilasters and not buttresses, but you never really know. They really liked mixing up these elements. You could say it was pretty avant-garde at the time.
Avant-garde.
We might hit a support beam if we're not careful.
Exactly.
And in layman's terms?
From what I see here, we could risk great damage to the house if we try to turn the dining hall into a garage.
Did you hear that, Mr. Wright? No garage for you. You can build another garage totally separate outside. There's a look of disappointment before he sighs and looks around the place with an air of defeat. When he moves to speak, I dread another unreasonable demand again.
This will stay a dining hall then.
Thank you, Lord.
But if I may have another request instead.
What is it?
At least spruce the place up with some flowers, some plants or something. It feels so old and dead in here.
That's hardly unreasonable. Daffodils are a must, I presume.
The look that passes between the two of them, there's a genuine look of fondness there. Oh, they love each other. This is the first time I've seen such an exchange between the two of them. If anyone are to see them like this, there's little doubt that they loved each other.
Boss, and I want a garden full of them.
Okay.
Now, if you excuse me, I'd like to look at the rest of the house.
No
I'll just
problem.
be around here downstairs, if anybody needs me.
Oh, no problem. That leaves Mrs. Wright and I.
He's quite fond of them, you know.
I can imagine. He looked terribly upset when we told him he can't have his garage.
I meant the daffodils. We always have a vase full of them in every house we own. Somewhere.
Oh, that's sweet.
I'd like to think. They may be about his mother. He never talks about her. I don't even know her name.
Shit, okay. That's
He likes
serious.
to flatter, claim that they remind him of me, but he's always loved the flowers, even before we married.
Much like the piano, I didn't take him for a person who liked flowers. Daffodils least of all. What's next? Am I going to find out that Mr. Right saves kittens from burning buildings? Probably.
I'll go and snoop about upstairs.
Alright.
You go and do whatever it is that you have to do.
No problem. I feel like I should take offense to that tone of voice, but anyways. When she goes without even asking if I need her here, I'm left standing to stare at the walls. Really, I don't need to do a thorough inspection of the building itself. It isn't really part of an interior designer's job. But the architect in me is committed to doing this task with every project. If I'm going to make a living space that have both form and function, I might as well make sure that the entirety of it is safe for my clients. Since I'm already here, I roam about the dining hall to check things off my punch list, if you will. But when it's time to move on, I hesitate. Mr. Wright said he would be somewhere around here on the ground floor, and I really didn't want to be alone with whiskey. I have to look through the place eventually, sure, but on the other hand, I can do it later when he's gone. I can go upstairs first if I want to. The first floor is where those rooms are, isn't it? Let's check the first floor. I've already seen enough of this floor during the open house. Of course I know that it is just a convenient excuse if I just don't want to be the same room as whiskey anytime soon. So I might as well just go upstairs first. Woo! I did this to myself! The banisters on the grand staircase's landing are solid at a proper height. Any lower and they would be trouble. There's a small catch on the carpet though, but as long as nobody tries to run down the stairs until it gets fixed, things should be alright. And the stained glass, art. Restored, no doubt in the image of the First Lady and Lord of Ermengarde. The ones that I saw in that picture memory. Guys. I don't know. Or it was supposed to be until Lady Charlotte's fiancé was brutally murdered. What? The Lord, he was brutally murdered by a witch. A witch of all things, from what I've read. You'd think the historians of this place would be a lot more scrutinizing, filtering out stuff like that. I'm amazed they bothered with it instead of replacing it with some generic cookie cutter design. This entire piece alone would have cost roughly 500, even £1 million. Lady Charlotte Ermengarde and her beloved. Looking at the mosaic, it's not too far a stretch of the imagination to believe that the depicted images could be Mr. and Mrs. Wright. It can be easily assumed as such if one doesn't know the history of the mansion. Really, a place like this should be protected by the government as a landmark. What can I do about it? Okay. Walking into the east wing, I try to go into the theatre but is met with an obstacle. The obstacle that is locked doors. 2 doors, 2 and both of them are locked. I'd be frustrated would be if I already hadn't snuck off while the Wrights were having their little business meeting with Miss Cooper before to take a peek. With what Mr. Wright wanted, we'd have to install a powerful projector, the type they use in cinemas, and a projection screen. The seats would have to be reupholstered if they're to be any comfortable, and the walls will have to be covered in dark material, paint, wallpaper, or install wall-to-wall carpeting. Really, of all the rooms I could be jealous of, it's this one. I could just picture myself in there watching old kung fu flicks on a weekend-long marathon. Makes me wonder what kind of movies Mrs. Wright would like. Rom-coms, perhaps? Her husband, on the other hand, I'd rather not think about it. Oh my god. In the middle of my notation and planning, I don't even realize that I'm not alone, until I'm caught standing in front of a locked door like a fool.
Were you meaning to go in there? I'm afraid we won't be able to open it up today.
I see.
Oh well, I wanted to, but it's fine. I can still survey the rest of the place.
Apologies, but the key was missing when they were handed over. They told us that they'd get right back to us with it.
What? But aren't they supposed to hand over all the keys once property changes hands? That can be grounds to file a complaint.
They were already kind enough to let us move in so early. There's no need to raise a fuss about it. Worst comes to worst, we can call for a locksmith.
The air is heavy and somber when she grows quiet and glances out the window. Out towards the vast expanse that surrounded what would be their house. Their home. Then she looks back at me with a sigh and a bitter smile.
Flowers. Yellow flowers. Daffodils, dandelions, and sunflowers and the sort all up front. Just a whole garden of them. They'll make the house look lovely, won't they?
Yeah, sure.
Of course. A garden is a wonderful addition to any home.
As I say this, her eyes roam over me, scrutinizing and thoughtful. I have to hold back the shiver that threatens to run down my spine at being inspected so closely.
Yes. It must be nice.
We're still talking about the gardens, yes?
I mean, not having to worry about what another person thinks of you.
Uh-huh.
What do you mean by that?
She lifts her hand and points to a wedding ring before it falls listlessly to her side.
Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I didn't marry Luke.
All
There'll be
right.
no fights about walk-in closets or silly helipads. I could do with this place as my heart desires until there's nothing but content. Then again, I wouldn't have bought this place if it wasn't a gift for him. I probably wouldn't even be in Luxbourne if it wasn't for him.
A gift? That's a pretty expensive gift.
Maybe I would have moved to London, Manchester, or Birmingham. I might have even left the country altogether. France, Germany, Spain, Canada, Sweden, even America. The possibilities would have been endless.
True. I don't know what to say to that. What is there to say?
I'm sorry, I must sound so petty and ungrateful.
I don't know what to say to that.
I do love him.
Right.
So very much, even if he can be a bit difficult at times.
That is true.
Oh no, not at all. I'm just confused why you're telling me this, of all people.
Just a whim, I think. Just flights of fancy, that's all.
That's what it is.
Don't you ever think about one decision you've made in your life and wonder how much would change if you chose to do things differently?
I think everyone has those moments. But you just have to kind of look towards the future. And if you're really that unhappy, then maybe it wasn't meant to be. I don't know, just... It's a tough one.
I try not to dwell on the past, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, don't look to the past, look to the future. And if that person is not going to be in your future or doesn't want to be in your future, then he or she is not worth to be in your future or something. You're basically wasting your time on something that's never going to happen. And that will hurt even more. The key word is try, of course. Thinking of the past brings up too many ghosts. Oh yeah, memories of her. And I do wonder what would change if I just said yes when she asked for me. Maybe she'd still be with me. Why didn't you decide on your own? You must have been quite the pair. Why didn't you decide on your own? Yeah. Her worries seem simple enough. I mean, it doesn't have to be as difficult as she makes it out to be, right?
Why don't you decide on your own?
I mean, nothing against Mr. Right, of course, though whiskey buggered me to no end. By law, she would be owner of the house. Well, unless they signed a joint property ownership anyway, which is a rare thing as far as I know, especially among these highbrow types. Sure, they could actually love their spouse. I don't doubt the possibility. But money is money. And it makes people do the most horrible things sometimes. That it does.
It's your house. You can paint the whole place pink if you want, and there's not much he can do.
The somber expression she had changes to a look of contempt.
I could, but we are husband and wife. Equal partners in marriage, Marianne, though I can see that you don't understand. This is his home as much as it is mine. I'm not going to go behind his back over a room.
Why are you consoling in me then, if you know what your answers are?
And how dare you suggest that?
Oh my word, jeez. Why are you consoling in me? How do I even talk her down without causing further offense? It's in my attempt to shake off my own drama that I end up tripping right into theirs. Because really, I have no business meddling in the affairs of my clients, unless it involved interior design or architecture. Yet here I am opening my mouth and yapping. What does she expect me to fucking do here or say? You wanted to consoling me, I am giving you advice. Oh, bloody hell, woman.
That's not what I meant by it. I just mean that maybe you don't have to get the approval of your husband all the time. Or well, okay, fine. I know nothing about married life, Mrs. Wright. You're right about that. But I still think you're allowed your indulgences every now and then.
Of course, my form of indulgence meant buying old slate 78 RPM country records which I don't even dare use with my gramophone. For her, it could very well be buying an entire house.
That's just my take on it. A perfect relationship is as rare as hen's teeth. You got what you got. I mean, you're doing well enough without my advice. Sure, look it.
That looks to placate her somewhat. She looks away and starts to favor the view outside once more with a faraway look in her eyes.
Feel free to look around the rest of the house. Everything but the theatre should be open. Just call if there's need of me.
Of course, Mrs. Wright.
Why is she gotta be in my business like this every time, asking me for advice and shit? Keep it clean, keep it simple, and stick to business, that's it. Be professional. But I failed to do that just because of her pretty face. When she turns to leave, she glances back at me before disappearing into the foyer. I look out the window from where she was standing, and I move on. Alone with nothing but my thoughts and her.
Finally, some peace and quiet. Thought the old biddy would never leave.
Come again? It's utter madness, this hearing things. I reckon it's the stress, though I don't know what exactly I'm stressed about. If meeting Mrs. Wright has really thrown me off for a loop, I'd be worried. If I'm developing some kind of psychosis or disorder, well, I'd call it a doctor. But hopefully it isn't that, not right here, not right now. I mean, it could just be that personal talking cricket, the conscience, so to speak, and I'm only noticing now, though if it is, it isn't very helpful. Pushing the dilemma of voices in my head aside, I go back to work. But I can barely make it a few steps before everything tilts and shifts. I don't really stumble, but it feels like I'm being thrown off my feet, and the rest of the world just follows. Though my feet stay firmly on the ground, and even if I stay mostly upright, I feel like I've been heaved and put off balance. I have to close my eyes, in the hopes of willing the sudden sense of vertigo away when I open them. No! Why? What did they do to her? Why? Well, I don't feel any less sick because of the sight that greets me. Blood dripped from the walls and the ceiling, pooling downwards and seeping into the curtains and the carpet. A wave of nausea, stronger than the last, hits me along with the overpowering stench of blood and gore. I want to bolt. The rational part of my head is telling me to flee, and I would have gladly done as it asked if only I didn't hear her.
In here, Marianne. Come on. I have something to show you.
No, don't do it, Marianne. I could have ignored it, would have ignored it, if I only heard it in my head. But I swear that this time, it's coming from one of the rooms. Much further into the study, and I feel compelled to pay attention. I can't just turn around and leave. Not when it's her. It's an hallucination, Marianne! Snap out of it! I don't even think as I follow the sound of her voice. Please, no. No jump scares. Oh. Achievement unlocked. Thick as thieves. Is that her? The blondie? Lorraine. Lovely Amanda Lorraine Fiona. Okay. She was my friend. The only one that I had at St. Sampton's. I was a scholar, the charity case, in a school for privileged and prestigious young girls. They all looked down at me, if they cared to look at me or acknowledge my presence at all except her.
Oh, stop your crying. You know better than to listen to Maeve. Why, I ought to teach that butterface a lesson.
Wait, no, lass! I don't want you getting into trouble with the sisters again!
Relax. It's not like I'm going to stomp her and her lackey's arses flat like last time.
Come on, let's just go back to our dorm room. I don't want to be on my Tobler while you go get yourself punished.
You'll be fine. Gip's there with you.
Lorraine was there when I needed her, through my highs and lows. What did I say? Hip? Having her as a friend made being in a strange school away from my father all the more tolerable. She saw this poor helpless girl who was kept down and shunned by everyone else, and being the kind soul that she was, she rescued me. So brave, so beautiful. She was something else.
I'll eat all the chocolates stashed away in your closet if you go.
I can get more. Just don't go complaining to me if you get a tummy ache because of that.
Well, you don't want to get detention on a weekend, do you? It's a Friday. We can go to town and have some karaoke. And we can have a go at druids and demons again. You're not going to miss that just because of Maeve, are you?
Sometimes I question what I did to deserve a friend like her. In the darkest corners of my mind, where traitorous thoughts lurked, I thought that she only felt sorry for me. Maybe she was just being a good Samaritan, offering a helping hand, and perhaps I had been too selfish to return the favor.
You have a point. I'll just kick her arse on Monday then.
That's not what I mean!
I know what you mean, Em.
Wait, where are you going? You just told me you wouldn't cause trouble.
I still have something to do. Don't worry, it's not like I'm going to burn down her dorm room or something criminal like that. I'm just going to talk to her. Maybe I'll make it so that her room smells like a dog's air biscuit. That'll make it an excellent weekend. I'll see you in a bit, Marianne. Lots of tumblers.
Because when she told me that she loved me, I couldn't admit that I felt the same way. Not to her, and not even to myself. It was wrong. I was taught that way, husband and wife, one man and woman, unclean, impure. I prayed for her and I, for our sins and for salvation. I wanted to apologize for disregarding her feelings so callously. It must have been like a slap to the face for her, but life had gotten in the way. Exams, which were trivial in hindsight now, took top priority. I had to keep my grades up to keep my scholarship for my father. I told myself I would apologize to her when those were over, that I needed to focus first and not let anything distract me. It had been easy. When she avoided me like the plague, she was upset. I get that. I thought I had the time to make things right, but...
At 7 in the morning, students found a 5th-year dead.
Shit. That's what was playing in the closet.
Assumed to have fallen from her dormitory window.
She committed suicide. They told us that it was an accident. That was the official statement. But I knew better. She was dead because of me.
Maeve had a hoot and I kicked the bucket, didn't she? Ding dong, the witch is dead!
No. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. Just tell them what's going on. Stop torturing them. She had, though she didn't say which, Lorraine.
But at least Maeve had the courage to admit how she felt about me.
What? I don't even know how long I've been stuck here in a trance. In the mirror, Lorraine smiles at me. She's as beautiful as I remember her. But then... I feel bile rise up in my throat as her clean image warps into how she looked like when they found her dead, lying on the cold, hard ground. Good Saint Dimphna, great wonder worker in every affliction of mind and body, help me. I'm seeing things, hearing things. Am I going completely insane? Looking everywhere but at her, I hope and pray that it's enough to will whatever this is to go away. It doesn't even immediately register in my head that I can just leave.
You, on the other hand, can't even look me in the eye.
This isn't real.
No.
You're not. You're dead.
I'm dead. Because of you.
Don't do
And
that.
don't even look at me.
Oh my god,
Look at me.
don't. I'm getting goosebumps, man. My breathing quickens and I can feel my heart being torn apart by her words.
I'm so sorry, Lorraine.
Look at me.
I can't take it because she's right. It was my fault. The least I can do is look at what I've done. Lorraine, broken and bleeding, looks at me with such hate-filled eyes. An unnatural smile stretches across her face and I can only see malice in it. Whoa! Then she lunges at the mirror, ripples around her from the glass parting like the water surface for her. She grips my shoulders and I can feel her nails dig deep, sharp even through the fabric of my
There
clothes.
you are.
Oh my god, she's in my face! Tap! Tap! Tap, 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 tap! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
You're coming with me.
No! What?
Why won't you love me?
I don't know! I was figuring that out so badly, guys. Okay, apologies spilled through my lips as tears cloud my vision. But I won't give in to this madness. With every bit of strength I have left, I struggle to get away from her. Fear grips and threatens to choke me. I endure, I escape, and without turning back, I stumble back out. In my panic, I don't even care to look where I'm going. With one hand on the wall to steady me, I just hobble as fast as I can away from the study, away from that mirror. Freedom is bittersweet. I'm free from the madness it seems, as running out into the hallway reveals to be in pristine condition. But it means I've turned my back on Lorraine again. I have no plans of stopping, not until I know I'm safe. And if that means walking back to Luxbourne, as ridiculous as the idea is, then so be it. Someone suddenly grabs hold of me, however. Fingers digging deep into my shoulder, my heart nearly stops. My body seizes and I nearly scream.
Marianne, you look awful. I mean, not awful, but did something happen? Are you alright?
Woman! Get out of this house!
This is right.
What? Guys! Okay. No. Don't be gross, okay? Don't be gross. This, because she looks like her long lost lover, or the person she loved. That's why, okay? So don't be weird. But, okay! Without thinking, I sought comfort seeing that it wasn't her. It's a sudden impulse thing to do, and had I been in any better condition, I would have even dared of doing such a thing. But I didn't know what else to do. Though I know I shouldn't, her warmth, her scent, they grounded me. This is intoxicating.
Marianne, what's going on? Oh, you're shaking like a leaf.
Tremors run through my body as soon as my mind realized I am no longer in danger. I wanted to cry, scream about what I've seen, but like a scared child, I couldn't control myself. My mind couldn't reconcile with what I had seen. I should just write it off as a figment of my imagination, yet I can still feel her nails cutting into my skin.
Are you sick? Should I call for a doctor?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Wright. Just feeling a little woozy and lightheaded is all.
Let's get you somewhere to sit down then. Come on, don't worry, I have you.
Yeah, let's go sit. A lie, but a whole lot less complicated than telling her I was attacked by a dead girl. It's nighttime already. When the feeling of fear eases off, I feel nothing but shame for my actions. I quickly back away as I clear my throat and nod my thanks.
I think I've had enough looking around. If it's all right with you and Mr. Wright, I'll meet you outside.
If you're sure, I'll have the car started. Do you need assistance heading downstairs?
I'm alright, ma'am. Just go on ahead and I'll be right there.
Seems to placate her worries, though only for a brief second. Before she heads down, I don't miss the concerned glance she shoots my way, hidden quickly under another smile. I won't begrudge her for it, that worry. The look on my face must have been a strange enough sight on its own. Even I am still reeling from whatever that was. Her voice still whispers in my ears. After all these years, she's still... No, Marianne. Shaking my head of the thoughts, I drag in a breath, then follow shortly after Mrs. Wright. Whatever has happened in the past, it's long gone, only memories now. And those are things I can no longer bring back. It's already dark as we make our way out of the mansion. With no lights, we are only illuminated by the headlamps of the Wright's car and the stars up above us. The sight of them helps me compose myself much more. The car's engine is running. Mrs. Wright's busy, eyes up to the stars. And Mr. Wright, arms crossed, has his eyes down on the ground. It is the crunch of the grass under my heel that brings their attention to me.
About time. What took you so long? A minute longer and I'd think the house swallowed you all up.
Please don't say that.
Oh, hush, dear. I'm sure she has her reasons. Marianne doesn't seem the sort to idle.
Sorry, I was just checking on something important.
Yeah.
See, business is business and they take time, love. You should know that better than anyone.
Okay.
So, Marianne, what do you think? Are you the woman for the job? I know we already signed papers hiring you, but I want to be 100% sure that you are committed.
I don't know, eh?
It's certainly an interesting project. You can be sure I'm seeing it through the end.
God, Marianne. You are brave.
Such dedication! Oh, I do love the determination.
You were
Yeah.
always determined like that, weren't you?
Don't ask me where it comes from! Hearing her voice once again sends a chill running down my back. I can't wait for this day to be over. Please! It's gonna follow me now. From the mansion and through Anselm, I rode with them in silence. But as soon as we hit city proper, I asked to be dropped off and bid them good night. I thought it best if I didn't stay too long in confined spaces with either Mrs. or Mr. Wright. Both seemed to cause me serious trouble, and if the project had been any less interesting or grand, I would have dropped it without a second thought. Would have. Shouldn't have. Won't. I show them that my place isn't that far off, and I have to fight off the urge to roll my eyes and groan when whiskey throws me a little smirk. Thank you, Lord. Is it because Lorraine is there? That's why she's keeping to do the project. She wants to, I don't know, reconnect with her? But even in my own home, peace is elusive, as is sleep. I lie awake thinking of what I saw in that mansion, of who I saw. If I so much as hear a single whisper from her, if I so much as see a wisp of her hair, I'm afraid I'll go mad. But none of that happens, and it makes me feel hollow. For 2 nights I've had trouble sleeping, but it's only one morning when fatigue has already let me rest that I'm reminded of what terrifies me so. Wednesday! In my restless dreams I see that mirror, the one in the study, and in it I see her, I see them. What the hell? Lorraine and Hannah. Hannah and Lorraine.
Oh, pathetic Marianne. Work, work, work. She'll work herself to death.
See, she doesn't listen. That's all she did. Look at what happened to me.
They talk amongst themselves, with cruel smiles and venomous tongues, or rather to themselves, 2 heads, 1 body. A horrible mockery of these women, as if they were the one and the same.
More's the pity. Life goes on and goes out, and she doesn't even see it.
Do you think she'll even realize when she's kicked the bucket herself?
When they say a person has a hard time telling when they're in a dream, it was true often enough. Even with this bizarre sight, even with the obvious implication that this isn't real, I can't help but feel distress.
Like, is that any way to live at all? She might as well be dead.
Cruel fate that she's alive and I'm, well,
Although they speak into each other's ear, tones low and hushed, I can still hear them as clear as day. Their whispers pervade the air, heavy and oppressive. They bury and dig into my head like tiny maggots, worming their way into my skull. It is only then that they take notice of my presence. Eyes turn towards me and I can only feel small under their scrutiny. Caricature smiles etch on their faces, mimicking each other grotesquely.
Oh, Marianne! How long have you been standing there, dearie?
come join us, Marianne. We won't bite, unless you ask, that is.
Have you been looking at us? Spying? How scandalous. Such a naughty girl.
I'm sure you were just waiting for something lewd to happen, weren't you?
No! Jeez!
You know she will not admit it. She thinks it wrong. You've said it so yourself.
Why are you doing this?
Yes. She thought me wrong, impure,
No.
abnormal, because I loved her.
But she loved you too. Why? My breath hitches and I open my mouth protest, but they stop me, screeching. The mirror that holds them cracks, lines spidering across its surface.
Do not lie. We know the gluttonous thoughts you try to deny, girl. All those desires you bury beneath that sickening guilt. You act the martyr when you turn the bed you lie in into your own hedonistic hell. You are nothing but a tainted soul with filth-stained flesh held together by falsehood and pride.
They look livid, and when it looks like they would lunge, I wake, feeling like the wind had been knocked out of me. Poor Marianne. It's just getting worse, man. Why is she doing it like that? Why is she like the ghost? Why is she like tormenting them like this? But I just don't get it. I mean, does she want them to figure out the mystery, the truth, or does she just want to just kill them? I feel like she just wants to be malicious and cruel, like what had been done to her before, you know? And I really want to know what they did to her. That was so cruel, man. Like, I feel such pain for Marianne now. That was just so cruel. I want to continue so badly now. Okay, let's just continue for a little more. With a groan, I squint and find a certain fluff ball sitting on my chest. Kitty! Thank you, Lord, for coming to my aid.
Good morning, Baruthiel. Who's a good kitty? Are you hungry? Is that why you woke me up?
A content purr comes from my sweet dear before she jumps off the bed and trots towards the kitchen. On the other hand, it takes me a bit more before I roll out of bed and start my day. Mornings before work is always a quiet affair.
I'll be leaving you again today, Beth. So you behave and make sure not to shred up my new covers, okay?
Yeah.
And don't worry, I didn't forget tomorrow is Black Cat Day, so I'll throw you a party. But only if you behave like a proper lady.
She barely gives me a glance as I say that before going back to her own food. Cats. Still better than humans most of the time. No, I prefer dogs. I'm a dog person. Sorry. The place is already busy as soon as I get here. Why are we in this house again? I have no chance to talk to him as Mrs. Wright appears and greets me with... Oh God, please no.
Mrs. Wright, I hope everything has been to your liking thus far.
Good morning, Marianne. It has been delightful and these men have been very helpful. Look at all this. It's so busy here. I'm getting tired just looking at them go.
No complications so far with the movers or the previous owners of the mansion, I hope?
If anything, the only one being problematic is Luke, if I'm to be honest. He can be such a diva, but I do like that about him.
Right. She stops, looking up at the upper landing where Mr. Wright comes through with 2 other movies and the mirror from the study.
Oh, do be careful with that mirror. We wouldn't want anyone getting hurt because of broken glass.
Break that motherfucker, man!
Why are you even having it carried around?
Because it's treacherous and evil!
Oh? You did say you didn't want the mirror, and I keep getting distracted by it. If I'm going to turn the study into my office, I'd rather not have it there. Where can we put this?
Well, you are not putting it in our room. Why
Please,
don't you
no.
go, I don't know, put it in the wine cellar for now? We can figure out if we'll store it in the attic or somewhere else later, yes?
You heard her, boys. To the cellar it goes.
That gave me such a heart attack. The movers bring down the mirror one step at a time, no matter how much the man tells them to hurry. An unsettling feeling grows in my stomach as I see our reflection in the bloody thing. And I look away, not wishing to risk anything. If I see Lorraine's image in the mirror now, I wouldn't know what I'd do. I don't have the luxury of privacy right now, and I am not going to break down in front of all these people. Thank you, Lord. As soon as they go into the kitchen, I realize I'm holding my breath.
Marianne, dear, have you had breakfast yet?
Is this when we have our little chit-chat?
Well, I do believe it would be considered brunch at this hour.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Wright.
You must join me. Johans has already been breaking in the kitchen, as they say. I do not see the others settling down for a meal anytime soon. Someone might as well enjoy the food while it's hot. And that
Right.
someone might as well be us.
Uh-huh. I should say no, I really must say no. But the way she smiles at me makes it difficult to do so.
Really like to thank you for inviting me to breakfast, Mrs. Wright.
Mm-hmm.
But I already ate, so I should really go back to work.
Nonsense! You arrived so early, you must not have gotten a proper meal. Sit, sit! I'd situate us in the dining hall, but it is a mess right now.
Concern is sweet, as is her smile. Yes, we had breakfast, I remember this.
But no, really, how have you liked it so far?
Oh, it has been wonderful, believe me. Everything is going smoothly too. It has been a long time since I've worked on something on this grand a scale. Nowadays, everyone is about condos and flats, living in the city where every room is an identical box.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, this is very refreshing.
We lived in a condo before this, Marianne.
I don't trust nothing.
I didn't mean any insult.
It's fine, sweetie. Look at you, all frazzled. I was just pulling your leg.
Right.
Luke wanted that penthouse when we got married, and you can thank him for purchasing this place as well.
Thought it was a present for him. So now he purchased his own present.
Don't be fooled. I'm just the treasury. I wouldn't be able to make a purchase this grand without his seal of approval.
I see.
That's it. That's all you have to say.
But we were talking of
Luke. We were talking about
about him.
About him.
Speak a word, Mrs. Wright. Not only am I contractually obliged to, it would also go against my principles.
Yep.
This is no one else's business but your own, and it should be kept between the two of you, and whoever you wish to seek counsel from.
Please, Marianne. You have to understand. These sort of affairs. If anyone were to know this, they could just twist it and we'll be ruined. All I ask for is your silence on the matter.
You have it, woman.
Well, I'm keeping that information confidential as well.
Thank you.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
Zach! Oh, is he dead? I don't know. It still upsets me.
This was a wonderful meal. I must
It was my pleasure, and thank you for the food as well.
She stands to up and leave, and all I want to do is to reassure her again, to prove that I am someone she can trust. So when she looks back my way, I didn't fight the smile that found its way on my face. I feel giddy, but the feeling dies down afterwards as I sober up. Oh well, back to work. Soon enough I find myself drawn to the kitchen where the right butler has returned to. He's already claimed the space and telling movers to back off.
My kitchen. No kinder allowed. Little men running around with knives especially. We do not want any accidents to happen now, do we? Good? Good.
Good.
I hope I meet the age restriction, or at least the height restriction, because I'm asking to be let in here.
You are allowed inside, McCulloch, but not the little ones.
The movers work efficiently even when they're left alone, and they do quick work of their responsibilities. The head foreman comes standing in the doorway to consult me on this or that, and I have to go help out every now and then. But they pretty much have everything up to standards. They skip to lunch entirely, not even realizing when they do so.
That smells good. Want to wrap up some for me to go?
That'd be nice.
If there are any left. One can't go wrong with fish and chips. Everyone loves them. Even my husband. And he's American.
Hello, hello, hello. I never knew that, Johans. Well done there. Jeez. There's no judgment here, okay? None. The sensation, what? The sensation of fingers ghosting briefly on my arm causes me to freeze and hiss.
Don't!
I half expect her to be there.
Whoa, no need to scream bloody murder.
Jeez, you scared the shit out of me.
It's just me. Quiet down before you break glass.
But it's just whiskey.
Don't do that again. Ever.
I don't like being scared, though I don't believe in the likes of spooks. Being startled is not on top of the list of things Marianne liked. Lucky for him, I have nothing within reach, or he would have gotten on friendly terms with something like a rolling pin.
What was with that reaction? Were you really scared?
Oh, shut up, you plonker.
Has Johans been telling you ghost stories? He just loves to scare people. Isn't that right, Brother Gurium?
Don't start with the grim.
So, now that we're alone, Marianne, what are you so jumpy for?
Why did you close the door? So, I don't know, not only must I watch out for a ghost, I'm gonna be watching out for him as well. No, man. No, I can't take it. No, I can't. You guys, I think I'm gonna leave the episode there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it and enjoyed it, don't hesitate to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. And leave me some suggestions if you want to see me play any other games. Like I said before, I want to really finish this and finish Doom 3 and start on the other Doom before Doom Eternal comes out. If you want to watch me play Doom Eternal, hit that like button or write it in the comments. I always love reading your guys' comments. But anyways, guys, till next time, have an awesome day or night in the gaming world. I'm going to see you next time. Cheers.